Was a girl who was in a thrift store and she found two shirts with her favorite bands on there. One band was called The Used and the other band was called Brand New. Now, I personally haven't heard of these bands, I don't think, but she was telling her girlfriend on the phone, yeah, I'm thinking about getting one of these shirts, but I'm not sure which one to get. I don't know if I want to get The Used or the Brand New. And her friend's like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just get the new t-shirt. And the problem, of course, was contextualization. The friend didn't understand the context. When she said brand new, she's talking about the band Brand New was on the shirt. And when she said the used, she's saying the brand The Used is on the shirt. She didn't mean the shirt was used, although they're all used because it was a thrift store. But contextualization or context affects the way we understand things, right? Like the physics teacher, he's very, very good at his job, very astute, and very deep. He could be known for being able to broach subjects on a dime's notice. In fact, at one time when he was giving a lecture, one of the students in his class raised their hand and hit him with a, "Why are we here?" The physics teachers pivoted from talking about astral projection to creation versus evolution on a dime and actually started talking about how many coincidences there are in the universe that point to the fact that there's probably an intelligent designer. This speech was deep, it was moving, it may have even changed some people there. But after he was finished, the student raised his hand again and said, "Thank you so much for that. But I mean, why are we here in 205S? We normally meet down the hallway." He was asking about literally why are we here in this particular meeting spot, right? Context. And context determines the meaning of what we say. Our brains, as I was mentioning, are computer systems. Your brain is a computer system. The mind is the operating system for the brain. Most people don't understand the mind. So if you were to Google like the mind or look it up in the dictionary or something, you won't find much explanation for really what the mind is. So this is where I specialize. It's helping you to understand how the mind works. And it's important to understand how the mind works so you can get the use out of your amazing computer system, right? If you don't know how to work the operating system, then you don't know how to get the use out of the computer. So your mind is an operating system, and like all computer programs, it works on commands and prompts, right? So computers have to be taught how to contextualize information. Have you ever used voice to text? Voice to text is where you speak into your phone, for instance, and then it will interpret what you're saying and write it out as a text. You can even write whole papers. I wrote my book using voice to text, where I just hold the phone up and I tell it what to say, right? Like it's dictation. So I just was using voice to text earlier and I said the phrase, "They're really being annoying with all their noise." Now in that phrase I used the word "there," but it's two different ways of spelling it. The computer understood that for the first "there," it's "they are" contraction, so THEY apostrophe RE, versus the second "there" is EIR, which means possessive, right? They own. The computer system has to be taught to contextualize what I'm saying, whether I'm using this form of "there" or the other form of "there." Likewise, we have to teach our minds to contextualize or to use the proper context for information that it's taking in. This is the difference between mental health and mental illness, the way we contextualize information. So what does that mean when I say contextualize? Well, the dictionary definition of context, it's the parts of something written or spoken that immediately precede or follow the word to clarify its meaning. So context is the information around something to clarify the meaning of it or to give the meaning to it. Especially when we talk about contextualizing, then what we're doing is we're actually contextualizing is considering the context of something or giving the meaning or giving the circumstances to something. So what happens with us is sometimes we make the mistake of taking what we're going through in life and contextualizing it in a way that's detrimental to us. For instance, if you're trying to apply for jobs and you keep getting rejections, you can say something like, "I feel so defeated," but "I am defeated" is a negative or a detrimental context for your mind, for your operating system. So you're telling your operating system, we are defeated. Your operating system then takes that prompt and gives you the chemicals of being defeated and creates a belief of being defeated, which naturally will not go well for your ego. The ego, as I use it, is the sense of self. When we deplete our sense of self, we have a low self-worth, low self-esteem, less confidence, and resulting anxiety and depression as a result. So when we don't contextualize things in a way that's beneficial, then it's going to cause us to spiral down in the way we feel and in our mindset. So we have to be of a very, very strict regimen of making sure we contextualize everything as being beneficial in a way that is beneficial to our ego or our sense of self. This is making sense so far? So if someone mistreats you, a detrimental way of contextualizing that is, I'm not lovable because someone mistreated me. Nobody likes me. Or even if it was your brother that mistreated you, oh, even my brother hates me. Even my own mom doesn't like me. Do you see how those are detrimental contextualizations? So we have to learn the skill of contextualizing, that is to alter the wording and the prompts, the semantics of how we're taking in information and planting it in the brain. So if you're experiencing adversity, which is inevitable, you must make sure you're not contextualizing that as being detrimental to the self. So let's say you're applying to jobs and you're getting a bunch of rejections. How can we contextualize that so that we're protecting the ego? So that we're protecting our sense of self. If we're getting a bunch of rejections from applying to a job, for instance, we could, instead of saying, I'm defeated, or nobody wants me, we can say, oh, the job market seems tough. Oh, this one's going to be a challenge. Oh, it looks like I got more work to do. Now we're not defeating ourselves, depleting our sense of self and our ego. Likewise, the other example I used, someone mistreats you. How do we contextualize that to defend our ego, to protect our sense of self? Someone mistreats us. We would then look at their mistreatment as, oh, I wonder what's wrong with them. Oh, it's too bad they mistreated. They must not understand who I am or what my worth is or what my value is. They're the ones that are mistaken. The problem is not me. The problem is them, because it's their actions. So their actions is not my problem. Now we're contextualizing. It's the same information, but we're contextualizing it in a way that's going to be beneficial.